Hi everybody, welcome to Raising Vibrations with myself, Simon. Today everyone, I'm going to be basically creating a new series for you, and in fact this is actually a reshaping of a series that I'd done almost a year ago. And one of the main reasons as to why I'm reshaping it and redoing it is because in that year period my knowledge on the archetypes, the astrological archetypes, has expanded like 30-fold. So this is a revisiting, this is an updated version, and this is also something that I'm going to be sharing with you that has one main intention behind it. And that is that I would like to share and teach a sense of understanding about how to form a relationship towards the astrological signs in a way that creates deep spiritual healing. Okay? As you've probably noticed about the channel that it is that I do, I use astrology in the context that I feel it's should be used to gain the maximum out of it. Okay? And I feel that all forms of astrology in themselves offer some sense of healing regarding the nature of our journey on this incredibly interesting and very diverse and dynamic plane of existence. So there is always those offerings. However, for me and the natural essence and the authentic voice that it is that I am through my own expression, I like to see it in the way of something that's more timeless. In other words, that the soul experiences itself over intense amounts of experiences, and that the astrology in seeing it through that lens, should I say, helps us heal the dimensions within ourselves that are fragmented or in some way, shape or form, not causing us to live the highest essence of what it is that we potentially can be. And there are many reasons as to why this is the case. There's many reasons as to why that essence is not vibrating for us at the level that it potentially can. I don't really want to go into that too much because, of course, this will probably take about 3 hours, and really this is an introduction video. So today this is going to be an introduction video on the 13 videos that are going to follow, and we're going to be talking about the astrological archetypes. Okay, the astrological archetypes themselves, all the way to from Aries until Pisces, and the evolutionary intention that each of them, or those archetypes themselves, hold, what they are. Okay, so I'm going to expand a bit on this now. Each archetype within the zodiac, each archetype within the natural constellation, like the wheel, okay, is a way in which we interact with the non-physical. And these archetypes themselves, beyond the human ego, do not have any definition per se. It's us that interact with it that creates definition. So actually in the astrology chart, if you look at your astrology, you'll notice that there's a natural square between Pisces and Gemini, okay? And there's actually an inconjunct, and for anybody that's not really sort of following the natural ways of these definitions, but an inconjunct represents an angle in consciousness or within the psyche where we are trying to create necessary alignment. So it's an area of us that causes deep inner reflection. It's an aspect that we don't really see, but they work simultaneously. And so we learn how to kind of create alignment where things don't perceive themselves to be in alignment, okay? So there's a natural square between Pisces and Gemini, and there's a natural inconjunct between Gemini and Capricorn, and between Pisces and Capricorn there's a sextile, and it's that formation over there that actually influences the way that we try to describe the nature of source, and yet the moment that we try to describe it, we divorce ourselves of the actual essence of what it really is. Because each of us, when interacting with the non-physical and through our interactions, can only perceive it based on how we are interacting with it, based on our own psychology, based on our own, of course, archetypal structure that exists within us. And that's beautiful because that is the fragment of light, or should I say our perception of the diversity of the spectrum of light that is all emanating from the source. So we all come from the same place, And then when we express ourselves in diverse ways, we understand the nature of creation in its entirety. So when we, and particularly using astrology and archetypal astrology, we are always challenged with the awareness that if we're conveying something, if we're talking about something in the astrology chart, every astrologer will have a very different and unique take on that. And the reason why that's the case is because they interact with the symbols relative to what their consciousness is about. Does that make sense so far? So that's why, for me, it's so important that you, as a person that is watching this video and that is wanting to learn about astrology, understand that the symbols on a birth chart are just merely symbols on a birth chart. And that what you've really got to hold focus on, attention on, is what is coming up for you as you interact with these symbols. Because these symbols are acting as a mirror for you to induce inner self-reflection. So the symbols themselves carry definitions, human definitions, and yet the archetypal stories that are represented when you interact with these symbols reflects to you the entirety of the universe, which is you, the consciousness of yourself, and it gives you the opportunity to inwardly reflect. And in that place, there is no definition. And so this is getting a little bit big for you at this stage, but the point I'm trying to make here is that these archetypes don't have any definition. They are inherently just a movement of energy expressing themselves. And as I'm talking to you about this, I'm already creating a divide between what it is that they are versus what it is that I perceive them to be. Okay? And so when you're looking at a birth chart and you're going like Mars in Cancer, for instance, you have to recognize that Mars in Cancer is not a generic understanding. You can't read Mars in Cancer on the internet and go, yep, that's what it is and this is who I am, and then walk around like identifying yourself with that, because you're losing the point. The point is not to walk around with an identity structure that's been assimilated into your mind based on what people have described it to be. Your point is to go, Mars in Cancer symbolizes X. And in my life, where am I seeing that archetypal story play out for me? And then through that process, be empowered by realizing how it plays out in your life, heal that karmic pattern if it needs to be healed, or align yourself with that karmic pattern, and so that you can then be an active expression of the exact and individual context of the Mars in Cancer for you personally, because you have karma around that archetype. Does that make sense? So this video series is me sharing with you how to understand what those symbols represent, and then you can go home or you can take your astrology and play around with trying to merge them together like that, so that you can kind of get an opportunity to access these symbols in a way that not only gives you the opportunity for deep self-exploration, but also personal cosmic alignment. And through that process, the realization of what it is that you truly are. Okay, so we're going to begin with Aries in the next video, and I won't be going around, well, there's a part of me that feels like I have to go around in a circle because there is an evolutionary intention behind that. And so here I have the compassion towards my Pisces friends who go, why am I always lost? And the natural Pisces archetype of feeling victimized by the situation because I'm lost. I'm not saying that you're saying that right now, but there are going to be a couple that are going to say that. And here I offer compassion and I say to you that, yes, I have to do it in this archetypal structure, but I've recorded them all at once. And so therefore they will all come out at random or in a sort of sequence of events. Okay, so you won't actually be lost in that sense. All right. Fantastic, guys. I really hope that you enjoyed this video, and that you are going to have a full understanding of why you're going to be watching this series. And this is for everybody. So it's not specific to sort of going, okay, with the Pluto video series, it was like, I have Pluto in the 5th house, and so therefore I have to wait for that. No, this is one that you watch every single one of them for. Because of course you're studying astrology in some way, shape or form. Okay, great. So I just want to give you a couple of announcements. Firstly, if you want to actually learn astrology on a very deeper level with myself, I do have an astrology school with 3 segments. The beginner's course, the intermediate and advanced. And I've got roughly quite a large collection of students at this stage. So if you're wanting to or interested in participating in this school, then there's a large support group that has been already created for you to jump into and say, hey, I'm new to this process. This is what I've learned through this video. Can I share my thoughts over here? And other people might interact or will interact with you and help you along that journey. So the learning process is quite fast. So if you're interested in that, check out the links in the description below to my website and browse it over there. Okay. And if you're interested in a membership program, I will be having that up by the end of this month. And so I'm in the process of really constructing it, really thinking about how I'm going to offer the best service to you as possible. So I'm just basically reminding you that this is going to be coming into fruition very shortly. So if you're interested in that, just remember it, and I will be putting some links in the description to let everybody know when it's live. Okay. Great, fantastic. Have a wonderful day, and I will speak to you later. Take care. Bye-bye.